Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Are you tired of the same old blah, 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 blah from the media? Do you like unfiltered commentary? Would you like to go back to the days when our rights meant something? Well, you've come to the right place, Crisco's Corner. The fight to get back the ideals of our founders will be long and hard. Please support the channel by subscribing. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner. The Washington Examiner. Eviction moratorium is unconstitutional, federal judge rules. Those of you that watch my channel and know me personally know I am a huge Donald Trump supporter. When President Trump put a moratorium on evictions, I said then he didn't have the authority. So I don't always agree with every single thing Donald Trump does, but he don't have the authority to do that on a nationwide basis. And I also said that I'm not sure, but at least minimum, it's up to each state to decide. It's just simple. It's unconstitutional for the reason that you have to eat and you have to have shelter. Number one is food. Number two is shelter in order to survive. Okay, that's everybody knows that. So just because I'm out of food and draconian lockdowns have kept me inside, and I believe those are unconstitutional as well, then I could go into any grocery store and just take whatever I want and pay for it at a later date, maybe. You can't do that either. And really it's the same. It's a goods or services. In this case, a service is the apartment, the house you rent, or you're paying rent to somebody you live with. That all comes out the same. You don't have the right to take it for nothing just because you need it. No matter how moral it is, and no matter how anything, you can't take it unless you pay for it, or there's some other legal mechanism, i.e. a government program that takes money from other people and gives it to you. You just can't take it on your own. You just can't. The Constitution is not waived during times of crisis, i.e. a pandemic. Let's read on. So this is a shot against Donald Trump, too. So those of you anti-Trump people don't know what to do now. A judge ruled on something you don't like, but he also ruled against Donald Trump, and you're like in a box now. Oh, what do I do? Well, you follow the Constitution and the law. A federal judge in Texas ruled that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's temporary moratorium on evictions is unconstitutional. U.S. District Judge John Baker said on Thursday that he expects the CDC to respect his ruling and withdraw its moratorium, but stop short of issuing a preliminary injunction. In other words, that would have said, you have to do it now, or I'm asking you to take away the moratorium voluntarily. He's being kind to him, actually. Most judges are egotistical in that way, and they'll say, I'm the judge, I'm the law, here's what it is. While the COVID-19 pandemic persists, so does the Constitution, Baker wrote in a 21-page ruling, which came after a group of landlords and property managers sued the CDC in October. I mean, in all fairness, I've been a landlord in the past. I live in upstate New York. I haven't owned rental property in a very long time. Over 15 years, I've got $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of judgments for back rent. You can't get the money. So when these illegal, or unlawful, I should say, is probably more accurate, moratoriums on evictions, okay, say it's waived. Well, you knock on their door. Knock, 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 knock. I'm the landlord. Well, I'm sorry, you owe me 4.5 months rent. Well, I don't have it. Well, I'm sorry. I got to give you eviction notice, and especially if in New York State, the tenants have all the rights. The property owners have zero rights. Take another month and a half, 2 months to get them out. Now you haven't collected any money in 6 months, and if you're in very, very high property tax states like New York, give you an example, just my small commercial building where my convenience store is, just nothing fancy. I pay almost $6,000 a year in city, county, and school taxes by itself. Not counting insurance, not counting a mortgage or rent, and nothing. That's $500 a month I pay. And a little small guy like me, that's a lot of money. And where are these landlords supposed to get the money to pay these property taxes that these municipalities have to have? I used to be a city councilman. I know very, very well that property taxes are a huge, huge part of your budget that pays for everything. How are we supposed to get the money from? So a landlord says to the local tax collector or tax assessor or city hall, I'm sorry, I haven't collected rent in 6 months. They're going to go, oh, not my problem. Yeah, but the law says I couldn't collect it. I couldn't evict anybody. Sorry, can't help you. It's not right. It's not fair. And not all landlords are like greedy little, oh, let's see what I can throw out the kids and the mother out in the snow. And it's nonsense. The vast majority of landlords are just everyday people that invested in property or they have 2-family houses. They're not evil monsters. The plaintiffs believe the agency was exercising authority the federal government did not have, using the pandemic as a shield. COVID-19, this pandemic, has been a shield for a lot of stuff. From election laws to election rules to election changes to having more control, draconian lockdowns, destroying people's businesses and lives forever, all under the cover of a pandemic. As a shield is being kind. They're represented by 2 conservative legal groups. I don't know why a legal group is liberal or conservative. It's a legal group. Because a left-leaning lawyer wouldn't sue? That one I don't understand. Including the Texas Public Policy Foundation and Southeastern Legal Foundation. The CDC attempted to use COVID-19 as an opportunity to grab power. And the court rightfully corrected this egregious overreach. Robert Hynek, general counsel at Texas Public Policy Foundation, told CNN. It was a power grab. Power grab by everybody, by a ton of government agencies, vast majority, 90+% of Democrats in office, governors, county execs, mayors. It was a power grab to be sure. Absolutely no question about it. And I really believe in my heart, honestly, even though I believe Donald Trump was wrong on the moratorium, not wrong morally, but certainly wrong legally and constitutionally. I believe a lot of them were done, the lockdowns, for one simple reason. They were about November's election. They had to use COVID-19 to their strongest advantage. Having election laws changed, election policies changed, mail-in voting, the whole works. They didn't cause the virus, of course, and they took no joy in people dying. It's not what I'm saying at all. I believe it was Rahm Emanuel, Obama's former chief of staff, former mayor of Chicago, that said, never let a good crisis go to waste. And I'll give the Democrats credit. They took advantage of this crisis, that's for certain. Baker, appointed by former President Donald Trump to the court in East District of Texas, also ruled that Congress had no authority to grant the CDC the power to halt evictions nationwide, saying the moratorium undermines the rights of landlords under state law. I am not a lawyer, so I don't know if state law would only apply, but I know the federal government did not have the authority. The CDC issued the moratorium to help reduce the spread of the coronavirus by keeping people in their homes during the pandemic. I don't think that was what it was for. I think it was just to avoid chaos. The more chaos there already was. It was a terrible situation. And even if I believe that they wanted the moratoriums on evictions because they thought it would help, I don't buy it. I really don't. I'm sorry, I don't. They wanted to undermine, for some reason, the economics in this country. Why? I don't know. I guess that's for the tinfoil hat guys to figure out. The order initially issued by Trump last September made it a crime for property owners to evict tenants unable to pay rent and pursue affordable housing options. You just can't do that, I'm sorry. And I know some people have children. Some people have handicapped children. Some have special need children, older senior parents or relatives, or they have nowhere else to go, no family members. I get all that. I really do. But just because it makes you feel good morally, it makes you feel good in your heart, doesn't mean you have a legal right to do it. I'm sorry. Maybe you can make arrangements with your landlord. The vast majority are decent enough to try to make payment arrangements. But if you've been locked out of your job, it all comes back to the same source. The vast majority, not all, but the vast majority of Democrat governors and mayors had draconian lockdowns. What were these people supposed to do? They can't go to their job because it's been locked up. All the restaurants, all the bars, all the gyms, all the nail salons, the list is endless. You told them they can't work. Well, it's only right then that we can't have people evict them. No, you're the ones that caused the problem. And to blame it on somebody else, i.e. in this case, landlords, is just ridiculous. You created the issue. You created the problem. And then you try to weasel your way out of it by saying you can't evict anybody. Look what great people we are looking out for you. It's wrong. I'm sorry. And President Trump was wrong when he signed the order. I know why he did it, because it was popular. And it seemed like the only thing he could do at the time. Because he had no control over the governors in each state. And some of the states were just horrendous for the lockdown orders. Michigan, California, New York, there's a bunch of others. Now, luckily for me, I'm a convenience store and have food here, so I was able to get under the radar, so to speak, as far as making me close, or I would have lost everything. But many businesses weren't that lucky. And these businesses employ people, and those people couldn't pay their rent because you made it so they couldn't work. So you created a problem, and so you dumped it on somebody else to save your own behinds. It's really as simple as that. We'll see where this goes. He didn't make it a order like do it tomorrow. He's telling the CDC, you don't have the authority to do it. Rescind the order. We'll see if they do. I doubt it, frankly. And it'll go to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will say, well, it's an awful, awful tough situation. We'll take cake decorators for gay couples, but we won't take things that affect hundreds of millions of people, and half the people will be PO'd at us no matter how we rule. So we'll just pass things. We don't want to make our lives too tough because this job is hard enough. I've got some speaking engagements to go to. I've got some things to look up in some law books. And I got the afternoon off to play some tennis or golf, so I really don't have time. That's what I think that the Supreme Court is like now. And with exceptions, of course, being number one, Clarence Thomas, top notch. Number two, Justice Alito. And I think third for the best is Gorsuch, which is a Donald Trump appointee. Well, the rest of them were Donald Trump appointees, two of them on paper, but I think they were more Mitch McConnell and old school Republican appointees. And that's why where we're at now. We'll see if this goes to a higher court. I'm not optimistic, but the damage has already been done. The virus is slowly weeding away. It's been a year now, coming up on a year, and the damage has already been done. The billions and billions in property taxes that won't be collected, and the billions of dollars in property and buildings that'll be foreclosed on. If these people are lucky enough to scrape the money together to pay the property taxes on these places they were collecting no rent, it broke them financially. Typical government. Lose, 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 all the way down the line. And that's the way it is, folks. Well, until next time, goodbye and good luck.